Okay, it's Friday, January 14th. I am back to just make one trade here today. And the count now down to 317, lost 10,000 on a code 6 trade. It didn't work. And also I took, I think it was 2,000, something like that on the Uber. Took a loss on it and got out of it. So I lost those two. I'm back. I just want to make a quick trade here today. This one should be good for an easy 100 ticks. And this is a code 6 and a code 7 trade together. And what I'm doing is I'm recording new videos. And I just recorded Bitcoin code 4 for Bitcoin. And it's now available. So what I'm doing now is creating new videos for different instruments, including I'll be doing stocks as well. So individual stocks, each one has its own specific code. And I'll be breaking individual codes for individual stocks. Anyway, today I've just got a sell stop in place at 35,920. It'll sell me short, go off at stop, market order, and buy me back at limit at 35,820 for 100 ticks. I'll be back. By the way, whenever you see a code 6 and a code 7 line up with each other almost perfectly, like almost down to the very tick, realize that it's setting up to make a big move, whatever direction it's doing this in. And it looks like it's going to go short. So assuming it does, it's going to make a relatively good size move down. It's not doing it off of any code 5s or any bigger codes right now. So it's not going along with anything bigger. But the power of the code 6 and the code 7, both indicating to go short at virtually the same time, is pretty powerful. They usually make pretty big moves when they do that. I could possibly go for more than 100. I could get 200, 300, 400 from this. Anyway, I'll come back. After this trade, though, you won't see me again for trading for a little while. I'm going to be finishing up the videos. We're working on them. I'm just taking a break today. But I'll be working on them and getting them done one by one. And then when I'm done, I'll come back to trading again and show off all the codes. I've got Bitcoin code 6 at 94% success. You can get it a little bit higher if you back off to 200 ticks, but this is for 300 ticks, 94%, which is very good. By the way, while I've been creating the new videos, I have watched one code after another win. They're all winning every day. So it's really powerful stuff. And as soon as I'm back to trading again, I will show it. I was going to say it's right about to trigger short, and as soon as I hit the record button, it went ahead and went short. Anyway, end the trade, 15 contracts, taking it down 100 ticks. Now I may go for more. If it really takes a dive here, I'll go for more ticks. I'll come back. And it very well may do that. Again, let me reiterate. Whenever you see a code 6 and a code 7 together, and they're both saying go short or go long, realize that most of the time it's setting up to make a big move. Like at least 200 ticks, if not 400 ticks. So 100 ticks is relatively conservative here on this particular trade. I may open it up and go for more ticks. I'll be back. Okay, it is making a big move down here. Starting to anyway. It looks like it's getting set up to do so. I'm going to go ahead and take the exit down to 200 ticks. I think the math is pretty good for that. Let's take it down to 720. Okay, taking a look at it on the chart. Looks good. Okay, so this has turned into a 200 tick trade. Now, The reason why I'm going for the extra ticks on this trade is because, like I said, when you see a code 6 and a code 7 together, both indicating to go short at basically the same exact time, almost down to the very tick, this is a sign that it is going to make a relatively big move. It's hard to say how big it is because there's no code 5 to go by or anything like that, but it looks like it's going to make a big move based upon the two smaller codes, 6 and 7. So I'm going to go for 200 ticks here. I'd say my math is at least 70%, if not more like 75, maybe even 80% here. Yeah, I'd say close to 80%. I think I can get it at 200 ticks. If I only went for 100, the math would go way up, like probably to 90% or more. But 200 is pushing it a little bit on the math. But I think I can get it. So I'm going to go for it here. I'll come back. So for instance, you could do what I'm doing here if you know both the code 6 and the code 7. And then, of course, you just follow it, and you see that they both line up like they're doing today. And you know to go for a lot more ticks than you normally would. And get it with a high degree of mathematics. Another time that you can go for more ticks on these trades, 7 or 6, is to know the code 5. And whenever you get for instance, sometimes you will get a code 5 trade even at the same time as a code 7 trade. And when you get those, because you know both the code 5 and the code 7, then you can go for more ticks. You can go for 200 ticks on those. Even more, you can go for 400 to get them a lot. But 200 ticks is pretty high math. So those are the times when you want to go for it. There are certain times when you want to go for more ticks off of these codes. Today is one of them. Perfect example of one that you'd want to go for. The only thing that would be better is if I also had a code 5 short as well, and that I already knew we were in a code 4 trade going short as well. Then you'd have the maximum chance of it going down a lot. We don't have that though. Code 4 is we're going to be getting a new code 4, and it could be long or short, and there's no code 5. The last code 5 was a long, which was successful for well over 200 ticks. I'm not sure exactly, but I think 300 ticks. I'm not sure exactly though. But anyway, I'll be back. Okay, it's made it down the 80 ticks that I would normally go for off of a code 6 or a code 7. But what I'm saying is that if you see two codes together, back to back, or at the same time, saying to go short or go long, basically that's let's just say it's like a secret, and it means it's going to go down quite a bit. How much is not certain, but it's going to make a bigger than normal move. It could be really big, or it could be not that big, but 200 ticks is pretty good math, and 100 ticks is super good math. So you'd want to go for at least 100, but 200 is about the sweet spot. That's about what you're going to be able to hit. You might be able to hit 3, you might be able to hit 4, but 200 will put you right into the sweet spot where you're going to hit it most of the time. Anyway, I'll come back. Just made a relatively big, quick move down right there. That's another sign that it's just going to continue to go even lower than where I have my exit at. But again, this is a game of mathematics, not a game of gambling. And I'm just going to go for the 200. But if I wanted to, I could go on manual, and I could go for more. And you can do the same. But one of the nice things about these trades is that you can just set your orders and then let it go and not pay attention to it, and it hits. That's one of the nice things about it. But if you want to give it more attention, or you can, then you can do even better. as long as you're disciplined and you play everything mathematically, not what you hope it's going to do, not what it, you think it's going to do, but what it actually does, and just set your orders and everything. But anyway, now you know a secret. When you see the code 6 and the code 7 together, you want to go for more than what you normally would go for. About 200 ticks is about the sweet spot. Getting close to it now. It's making another bigger move down here. It may get me out here real quick. Let's see, what was the low? The low was at 39, and I'm at 20 to get out. So came 19 ticks away so far. I'll come back. Came really close to getting me out there. 39, 20 ticks away, bouncing back up a bit here. But again, the math is what we're going with here. And the math is most of the time going to make it to 200. And it's just getting started here, basically. It may go down even more, quite a bit more. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. But I should be able to hit the exit here soon. Otherwise, what will happen is it'll bounce back up for a while, and then it will go back down again later. So I'll have to wait for a while to hit my exit. But anyway, it's probably going to go down at least one more time, and it's going to go hit my exit when it does it. So I'll come back. Okay, it looks like it's going to go for the exit here. Now, if I wanted to, I could cancel this order right here, cancel this buy limit order, or I could grab a hold of it, right like that. See the arrows? I could grab a hold of it and pull it down and bring it down even lower if I wanted to. In other words, if I wanted to try to manage the trade more, I could do so. For instance, I could let it drop below 720, and as it starts dropping 20, 30, 40 ticks below, place a break-even stop. Place a stop order to buy back at 720. So if it does go back up, you lock in 200 ticks. If it keeps going down, then you could take 300 or 400 ticks as it starts to drop out. So most likely when you do that and you place the lock in, it's most likely going to get hit, but not all the time. Sometimes it'll just keep going, and on those are the big winners anyway. So on those you hold it, let it go, and boom, you hit a 400 tick trade. So getting really close here to the exit. I'm just going to leave it out here because I want to show the power of just playing the mathematics. When you stop doing that, you have to manage the trade more. Now, if you have skill at this, then it's not a problem. But unless you have, a lot of trading experience and some skill at this, it would be better just to place your orders and just let it hit and take the high math. What did that just go down to? It just went down to 728, 8 ticks away from the exit so far. If I wanted to, I could just take it and get out manually. I'm already set up to do so at market. That came very close, didn't it? That was the second move down too. Didn't quite hit me. I don't like that. Well, still got lots of room here, plenty of time. So I'm just going to let it go here. I think it's going to go down even more. The thing is, though, if I do hold on to it like that, it's not really appropriate to keep this exit out there, because once it breaks below, it's going to go even lower. And I could easily add an extra 20 ticks to it, very easily, and even more. So, like play the break even, or play the lock in 200 ticks that I just mentioned. I could do that strategy on this if I wanted to. But again, when you do that, it just creates more, more stress, so to speak. Anyway, I have to decide whether I should just get out here since it almost hit my exit, or if it's going to make one more move down. I'd say the chances are high it's going to make one more move down. I'll come back. Okay, I'm going to lock in some ticks here. I'm going to set up a buy stop, 35,807. I'm going to go ahead and place this, locking in some profit here. This will buy me back out. I'm short 15, so it'll buy me back out 15. If it goes up there, I'm going to go ahead and bail on the trade here. It came 8 ticks away from hitting my 200 ticks. It's too bad it didn't hit me. It may go back up here. And if it does, I'll just take the profit and walk away, saying the trade came close but didn't quite hit. Anyway, I'll come back. If, however, it does go down, doesn't hit my stop there, get me out, and it comes back down again, I'm going to change the exit down to 620. And then I'm going to, once it gets below 720, I'm going to change the buy stop to 720, locking in 200 ticks. And then I'll write it down an extra 100 ticks, maybe even another 100 ticks, maybe go for 400. So anyway, I'll come back. Okay, making a big move down again. Let's go for it. I'm going to take this down to 620. Okay, update that. All right, now as soon as this thing goes off, as soon as it goes below 720, I will change it, the buy stop, to 35,720, locking in 200 ticks as soon as it drops below. Right now it's acting like it's going to do it. I'll come back. So if my stop gets hit here, I'm going to be taking a 107 tick trade. If it goes down below the 720, I'm able to lock it in. It'll be at least a 200 tick trade. And going for 300 ticks here, possibly I'll even go for 400, depends on how much it drops out. How quickly. I'll come back. Okay, it appears to be going for the bottom here of 728, preparing to readjust the stop down to 35,720. 35,720. I will place it as soon as it drops below. I need it to drop below by at least, let's just say around 20 ticks, and I'll go ahead and place it. If it were to all of a sudden make a radical move back up or something like that, I would get out at market. I'd get out right here at market and buy at market. Otherwise, I'm going to let the computer take over and let it take over the trade once I get it below 720. So about 700, I'll place it. It should be able to make it. Once it breaks 728 here, it's getting very close to doing. Once it does that, it should make a good move down. And then I'll place this break-even stop. Lock in 200 ticks. Let it go to 300 if it wants to do it. I'll come back. Okay, here we go. Coming down, just broke. Looking for 700, and I'll place the update. Otherwise, I can get out at market anytime I want. Buy market 15 quantity. Anytime I want. I'm going to try to lock in 200 ticks here. Okay? There's my 200 ticks. Would have just made it looking for 700 here, and I'll place it. If it doesn't make it here this time, I will get out manually at market. Okay, 712. What's the bottom at now? The bottom is at 10, 710. Looking for 710 to get broken, go down to 700, and I'll place the 200 tick lock-in stop here. Otherwise, if it doesn't do it soon, I'll just get out manually. Kind of need to get back to work, and I'm recording code 6 for Bitcoin, so it's really powerful code. Oh, this thing's not going to do this to me again, are you? Come on down. Okay, I'll come back. Okay, here we go. I think it's going to break. Should be down, a slide down to 700, no problem. Almost went down through there. What did it go to? 703. 703 so far. Just needed to get it down to 700. No, don't get me wrong. This is a low percentage play. The chances of my stop getting hit are going to be very high. But I just want to give it a chance. I just want to give it a shot. It's kind of bouncy, though. It's not really moving down that much, but it is stair-stepping down. But it's not really making any kind of a good move down. But it may do so, though. It may still do so. But kind of playing a choppy little game down here. But I'd say the math is still very high. It's going to continue on and make an even larger trade. So I'm trying to get a break-even stop on it so I can be on the right side of that larger trade, but still lock in 200 ticks. I'll come back. Okay, there it goes. Just broke the low. Okay, hit 700. I'll go ahead and place it now. Okay, I've got the locked-in trade 200 ticks now. Now, if it wants to just keep going down and slide down, by all means, it can do so. But if not, it comes back up. I've got my 200 ticks locked in. I've also got 100 more ticks down at 620, 35,620. So I'm going to make 300 ticks here if it keeps going. But I've already got it locked in for 200 ticks. You see how you can play a game here mathematically with it and just sort of walk it down? And, you're not going to win every time, that's for sure. But you will win on certain occasions. Like when it does make big moves and just keeps on going, you'll win on those. So it's a way to play and give yourself a chance to make even more ticks. Otherwise, this is just a 200 tick trade here. Already successful. I'll come back. Okay, it's making a move down here. It might actually do it. Doesn't have that far to go. 60 more ticks to go down to the exit. It could easily do it. I'll come back. So far, it's come 46 ticks away from hitting the exit at 620. And we'll see which way it's going to go. It's either going to go up to 720 and get me out for 200 ticks, or it's going to go down to 620 and get me out for 300 ticks. But it'll do it one way or the other. And anyway, you'll find that you can hit 300 and 400 ticks using this technique, but at the same time not giving up any ticks. Just take the lock-in ticks. Don't get greedy. Just take it off the table. Anyway, I'll come back. But just remember what this trade all started with. It all started with a code 6 and code 7 that were together, that were giving short entries at the same time, almost virtually down to the tick. And when you see that kind of a setup, you want to go for more ticks. I've already got 200 locked in. I could have had about 250 already if I would have gotten out. But going for 300 now. So it's either 200 or 300. And I knew it because the code 6 and code 7 were both lined up. Think of it as a tell for a big trade to come. Looks like it's going to pop up here and get me out at 720. So lock me in for 200 ticks and I'll be out. And then I can get back to work and get to work on the Bitcoin Code 6 video course. Super good code. Of course, they're all good. It depends on whatever it is you want to trade. Almost there. There it is. Okay, I'm out. 14,600. Brought my account back up to almost 32 there, 332. And just a simple trade, code 6, code 7, knowing that it was going to make a bigger move than normal because they were exactly together. So that doesn't happen very often. So when it does happen, know that it's most likely going to make a big move when it does. Anyway, I'll be back. I won't be back for a while because I'm going to be doing, finishing up more code videos that I'm working on. And when I'm done with that, I will come back to trading again. See you soon. Happy trading.